Hey, Viking fans, this is Keith Millard, and you are listening to the One Bar and Lupicus Show. Go Vikes.
All right, welcome back to the One Bar and Lupicus Show. I'm One Bar with a very zeroed in and zoned in Lupicus right now.
Well, I got to be honest, today is the worst day of the year, the day after the NFL draft. I got through it, though. It's over. Only way to go but up from here. Only way to go but up.
Only way to go but up. Draft is over. A lot of needs have been squashed. But there's still some needs out there that the Vikings could be looking to fill. So we're going to go over the top 3 positions that could still use maybe a little bit of help.
I think it's fair to say this is a disclaimer. These aren't like dire needs or pressing needs, but, these are some positions that maybe, like you just said, could use maybe one more player or are going to be a need at the end of the season.
Is it fair to say we're just being extra picky now?
I feel like the Vikings did a hell of a job of hitting all their major needs. Maybe a few could have been hit a little bit harder, but yeah, I think we are being a little extra picky. That's fair to say.
That's all right. That's all right. You can always improve. And one thing to keep in mind is today is the date where now if you sign a player, veteran, you don't have to, there's no comp picks. It doesn't affect your comp picks for next year.
Sign away. We got like
some might say it's open season.
Wow. Hope you brought Mel with you.
All right. Remember, subscribe to the channel, like the videos, but let's do this in no particular order. Why don't we start out at safety, the safety position?
Yeah, the Vikings added Bynum, who, again, came up on the screen as a cornerback, but Rick Spiel announced him as a safety, so definitely a versatile player. Is he going to be a safety? Even if he is, Xavier Woods is signed for a 1-year deal. Harrison Smith's getting up there. He maybe have a couple years left in him. So this is going to be a need, maybe not immediately this season, but definitely down the road. We got Miles Dorn on the practice squad. I feel like there's somebody else I'm forgetting. So there are some guys here that can compete, and this thing will shake up at the end of the preseason. But yeah, I think they're okay through this year, assuming there's no injuries. But it wouldn't make me feel bad if we added one more player here at the safety position.
Yeah, how dare you forget Josh Metellus?
Oh, yeah, that was the one. I think there's a veteran too. I was thinking.
Yeah, I think we're thinking more just long term. I mean, Bynum, maybe that's their goal is to groom him in to be an eventual starter. But still, like you said, Woods is 1 year. Smith. I hope he plays till he's 180, but it's not going to happen. So we're being extra picky. But safety, this is a position we figured that they might actually double dip in the draft, and they only had so many picks.
Yeah, and they had opportunities to doing it. Hufanga was there late, or Darius Washington wasn't even drafted. I don't know. Did we even bring in an undrafted free agent safety?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so they didn't even go that route. So there was players to be had. The Vikings must feel pretty damn good about the position. So again, I would call this a need, and I think it's one that's going to be higher on the list at the end of the year.
And just we don't think they're really going to go. I think they're set. I mean, I think they're going to go in. They already have more depth than they did last year. But just the top safeties out there are still available. Malik Hooker, Trey Boston, Kenny Vaccaro, Sean Davis. So there's just some veterans that, if need be, we could dip into.
And maybe those are guys that if an injury comes up, they look to sign some point in the preseason.
All right, so safety is one. Let's stay in the secondary. Let's go with cornerback.
Yeah, and corner here. I mean, you're looking at the Jeff Gladney situations up in the air. You technically didn't draft a corner unless Bynum does end up playing some corner. So that is one position they didn't really address, unless I'm forgetting somebody here, which I don't think I am. And then you got Mackenzie Alexander 1-year deal, Patrick Peterson 1-year deal. So I think I said this in our post-draft wrap-up. The fact they didn't sign someone, does that feel like they can maybe or want to sign Peterson and Alexander to a longer deal after the year or extend them halfway through? Maybe that's something to read into, or maybe they just figure, hell, we can worry about this at the end of the year. But I think cornerback, you potentially lose 3 guys from your group. That's going to hurt, and that's going to become a major need.
Well, and Mike Hughes didn't exercise his option. He's by some miracle, he's gonzo. They still got Boyd and Harrison Hand, so maybe they're expecting some big things out of Harrison Hand, which he could have a big old sophomore jump. But yeah, the future at cornerback after next year, very sketchy. Sketchy at best.
It is sketchy, and you hope you don't have any injuries in the preseason that thins that out even more, because we don't know what's happening. Well, we don't know what Gladney's situation is. The legal process has to work itself out, and even if he's able to play with the Vikings want him around, I don't know. So we'll have to see how that all works itself out.
All right. Well, let's take a quick spin to the offensive side of the ball. Let's go with receiver. Let's go with wide receiver here.
Yeah, and obviously you're set at the top. You got Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen. The issue with those two is just that Adam Thielen is in his 30s, again, like Harrison Smith getting older, need to find a replacement. We did sign Smith Marset, who apparently is a fan favorite already. A slasher, quick guy, looks to be a playmaker. We'll see if it all pans out. The problem is after that, BC Johnson took a step back last year. Chad Beebe is Chad Beebe. He did play better last year. The Vikings felt the need to bring him back, but really there's not a whole lot, and I'm still going to leave Marset up in the air at this point that really excites you beyond the top two.
Well, I think, like you said, we got the top two. I think Smith Marset is going to chisel himself in there as the number 3. KJ Osborne is overly expendable, even though he already was expendable. Now that we got hit up some specialists in the draft, BC Johnson, I think BC Johnson is a guy that could just be flat out cut. People might think I'm nuts, but he really didn't do much of anything last year. So especially if you want to keep a roster spot for Mr. Dan Chesina, he's listed as a receiver as well. So I think after the top 3, we're going to keep BB. There's no way in hell that they're ever going to cut that guy ever, no matter what he does or doesn't do. So it gets pretty slim pickings after that. So they've signed a couple of undrafted free agents at receiver, but it's a crapshoot.
Yeah, I think those undrafted guys are probably going to go the practice squad route, especially the pro kid. I mean, you look at what he did. He played special teams like Adam Thielen did. I think he's one of those guys that you kind of groom in the practice squad for a couple of years, and we'll see how it pans out. But I think you're definitely safe with the 4 you mentioned. I think the question mark becomes after Chad Beebe, BC Johnson, KJ Osborne, and is Dan Chesina going to get a spot? That's where the battle is. That's where the battle lies. But even so, if an injury hits one of these top 4 guys, that gets kind of scary. And I think there is plenty of veteran help out there. There's D.D. Westbrook's out there. Larry Fitzgerald's out there to be had. So I wouldn't be surprised if Vikings did bring in one more established receiver like that. I'd love to have a farewell tour with Patrick Peterson and Larry Fitzgerald.
Larry Fitzgerald. Did you mention D.D. Westbrook? He's still a guy that I love. Amendola, Golden Tate, Alshon Jeffrey. So there's plenty to be had out there. I would give a half of my left nut for them to bring Larry Fitzgerald here. I just can't think. I mean, it would just be beautiful. I don't care if he has 3 catches or.
But I mean, how helpful would he be to the young receivers too? I mean, that's like having their coach there. Huge for the development of Smith Marset, huge for development of BC Johnson. It helped Chad Beebe as well. So, and Justin Jefferson. I think you can't go wrong bringing in Larry Fitzgerald. And how sweet it'd be for him just to play one more year at home.
Oh,
it belongs.
Oh, I'm getting very excited. So that's pretty much it. Those are our 3. And like I said, we're being very picky here. We don't see these as huge, crazy needs. When you look at this roster from top to bottom, a depth chart is shaking out pretty damn tasty.
Yeah, it's nice. There's competition in pretty much every single position and some decent depth behind that. So they're looking good. I don't want to be a preseason champion or anything like that, but you got to like the way the Vikings are shaping up. I think we're going to see a much more competitive and overall better team in 2021 for the Vikings.
Yes, sirree. Yes, sirree. If you got a need or something that you think is sticking out, make sure to hit us up down in the comments.
Absolutely. And while you're doing that, remember this. In 2008, a beach was stolen in Jamaica. No arrests were made, and 500 truckloads of sand remain missing to this day.